Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore. Wait a minute, this music isn't right, the scene isn't right. Hang on. That's more like it. And now it's time for the show for all creatives. Nevermind the Furthermore. Your source for conversation, inspiration, and fun. With your host, Nicholas Anthony Tockert. He's an artist, a writer, a swordsman, and a game designer. He knows how to use the sword and axe in historical battles without anybody getting hurt too much. He's also the Manatee Man, master of marketing. And he may even have a guest or two. One thing, though, to be certain. Just don't call him a cryptid. With that, it's about time for the show. So sit back, enjoy, and have some coffee and chat with us.
Good morning, Nevermorians. I'm your host with the most, Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tockert, coming to you over the airways on WNTF. Nevermind the Furthermore. Nevermind the Furthermore is brought to you with the love and support of our good friends over at the Independent Creator Directory. That's indiecd.org, your one-stop shop for the best and the brightest authors, artists, and musicians. We're also made possible by sales of the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, all part of our ongoing series of Western martial arts manuals designed to help you go from having never handled the sword to teaching the art to others. And the Big Stumpy Robots line of books and games, as well as, but not limited to, there we go, Hates and Hellfire. A dark secret has claimed 2 lives, and is hunting an innocent child at the edge of the Appalachian Mountains. Only his aunt, a plucky reporter, her cameraman, and a very odd cat stand against the forces of darkness. Happy Monday, folks. If you want to actually work for a change, come on, dunk, dunk. There we go. We'll try that. Pardon me, I did have a little bit of update-based insanity that I had to fight this morning, so I'm very glad to be here doing what I do. Now, while I'm also at it, I'm working on a little bit of work for our one of our resident chatters who had a birthday, being Churro. Churro made an art request, and if you all are very good, I may indeed get into it. But what I need to do is get into my accountability. Alrighty, we're coming off of a very big weekend accountability-wise, in that I did a whole lot of around the house cleanup with the wife. I was not feeling well for most of the weekend, but got better in time for a visit from my dear friend Jim, which involved a lot of magic and not much sword fighting, because he kind of felt I was a little too close to the sprain in my left wrist, which is almost back to normal. It's a little tender, so I'm wearing my brace when I'm doing strenuous things, but I'm on the trying to build the strength back to it level to both of them. So hopefully I should be back fully to my usual self, with assuming I don't do something else stupid to it in the near future. Beyond all that setup, I did do a little bit of tinkering with Hates and Hellfire, but it was more Nope, that's not the word I wanted to use. Their stuff, poking it. And did a bunch of dungeon design. I've been working on dungeon design and practicing my isometric drawing with graph paper because ISO paper is surprisingly harder to find. Although, my happy little blue notebook of practice dungeons. What do I mean by isometrics? Here, quick lesson in mapping. This is the standard top-down view of an unlabeled dungeon in the old style format. See, handy dandy, right? Let me dig through here. I don't want to. Oh, you can't. Well, let me see. Do I want to see that one, or do I want to show you? Yeah, well, here. This one. Yeah, I like the finished one on the first page. Actually, is the best right now. This is from earlier. I lost my notebook and I refound it. This is an isometric, which means you're seeing everything basically from this slanted angle to add a better 3D representation. I picked this one because it's an older one. I have some others, but they're not fully fleshed out. But I need to do that as part of my planned how to run an RPG book. But I wanted to practice outside of that book before I get into that book to do it. Okay, there we go. So I've been working on that while everybody's been sick. Doing some yard sailing and thrifting and things, looking to acquire directly as much for Christmas as possible. I will, of course, make recommendations for anyone who's interested in anything that is in my, verified bailiwick for Christmas gifts, because I know some people aren't sure if you're not a gamer what can I get for a gamer cheap that might be appreciated, or nerfers or whatever. So if that's your band, your field, or that's something you're looking for, I may do a special geeky guide to gift giving or something along those lines. But we had some work with Xander. I did some custom art that went out, and I am reminding folks that my art commissions are open. I will probably be setting up a new overlay for that. I'm going, like I said, I'm in the process of tweaking my overlays, and if you want anything new in rotation, let me know. I will be dropping at least, let me look at this. I'll probably be dropping a couple overlays, a couple ads out to keep the numbers up, because it's like, if I know Thesis, he'll probably want the summer ad slot, and he'll probably have a new fall or winter ad coming out. Though the summer ad wasn't his the one most people like, so that's of the cyclic ones that I've kept up. We have a whole bunch of Donna Carlene ads up. I will probably be swapping out Grants as soon as he makes another one for me. Anybody else? Robin, if you're watching, I need a new ad for you so I can condense these two and not have that awkward sound change thing. So there's that. I'd love more from BKM. And I may be removing ones from people who haven't showed up in the chat for a very long time out of rotation, because I support people who are actually here. And I may even request, if it's the right situation, a longer form ad or two from some people. I'm working on some stuff to get a little bit of temporal freedom in case of potty break type thing for my longer shows. So if you're looking for ads placement stuff, let me know. As always, I do not charge for the ad placement, but I will gladly take money to charge for it, to ensure, etc., that you have an ad on there. Beyond that, we should be pretty stable. There may be some musical tweaking because I have I have at least 3 slots in my music files that I could rotate out and or upload some more noises. I'm debating. So we're going to see how all that works. Beyond that, we have a lot of tents coming up. For some people, Thanksgiving is very, very exciting. I am a chunky monkey. Thanksgiving is a holiday for people of certain interests, but more importantly, it is a holiday to be appreciative. And I understand the political ramifications, the historical problems with it, but I think the historical problems with it are promoted to bypass a lot of the good that can be done with it, being that we need to be appreciative of the things that are really important in our lives, our friends, our family, our health. And I do find it funny that only in America would you have a holiday dedicated to gratitude and appreciation, followed by the biggest shopping event of the year. It amuses me to absolutely no end that this is the case. And need to tighten that up quite a bit. That's okay. So that is where I stand currently. I have a few more projects that are in the works, and I am very excited because my favorite inking pen of all time has returned, and I got my paws on one, being the Sharpie Extra Fine. When people think Sharpies, they think of usually the blunted, the not blunt, that's the point of them, permanent markers, or the ones with the little pinhole with the tip that always cracks. If you know, you know. But for a long time, there was something called an Extra Fine, had a conical tip on it, and it gave it a very nice, controlled, sort of medium inking, very good for heavy line work and adding heavy line work to lighter projects. They were my go-to favorites for decades. And then in 2014, the Rat Binks discontinued it, and I was cheesed. But they're back. So I'll probably be doing some traditional artwork in the near future after I bang out some more digital artwork that I need to do. Also, I'm going to be starting up some new token projects. So they may warrant a stream. I'm not sure. They may interrupt Nevermind the Furthermore. So it may be I draw while I chat with you guys to get things done. I'm not sure. But what I am sure about is very soon we'll be able to go back to promoting properly the Independent Creator Directory. Till then, I'm going to have to open up with this commercial, and I will be back in just under a minute. I've been prattling for a bit, but I think you guys want me to get to the comments. So let's get to the comments. And let's see. First through the door was Carl Witzman. Hello, Carl. I do hope that Falcon of yours is more reliable than the Maltese one. Strip says, please share your peanut butter with me before you start chatting. Well, Strip, no. You want Uncle Carl's? Maybe. But you may not have mine. My peanut butter stays right where it is, preferably in my coffee. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Carl. Hey, Witzman Dude and Strip, says Donna. Hey, Donna. Did you give that sweet boy some peanut butter? See? There. No worries. Good cat daddy. I think it was around this time in 2023 when we first got Strip and little BB in the house the first time. Yes, the great adventures of the acquisition of BB were legendary. Accountability. Dan was giving me some ideas about writing real life mysteries. He's as bad as Nick about dragging me out of retirement. No. You aren't being drugged out of retirement. No, see, this is the great myth. You have the option to do what you want to do. If you are working for the man, you are getting paid, blood money for your time. And the man then can use that for leverage over you. You are working for yourself at a pace you choose, if and when you choose, by your inspiration. That is a whole different ballpark. That is freedom. That is beauteous. And that's what we're here for. That being said, keep writing. Can I just rest on my laurels past writing group and creating Uncle Carl's secret humor group? No. Moving on. Don't forget you have a murder mystery to write for Steffi. Stephanie, I wasn't trying to be disparaging. Yeah, it's pure speech impediment. Stephanie Osborne. Although every time I say Osborne, I have this image of Stephanie Osborne flying around on a goblin glider, just, solving some problems. It's there. I can't help it. These things live in my head. Absolutely adore the woman. Brilliant. She's one of those people with an intellect that scares me on certain topics. It's almost like she's an actual rocket scientist. Oh, wait! A mere short story. Easy. And then, hi, Foxy. How are you? Foxy. Greetings for Foxy. And yes, I am. Did I miss a comment, or are you being just snarky? Hi, Jack. Here's for story. Morning. Foxy. Yes. Okay. No, you're just ignoring that you are. Glorifying that you are indeed Foxy. You could tell I'm a little more balanced today because I am stammering. If I can speak in coherent sentences without stuttering, stammering, and basically face planting, my brain isn't working at full speed because at a better operating speed, my brain is outrunning my mouth substantially. Hey, Foxy. Hi. So many updates. Hence my delay. A computer froze up last night. I am in the process of rebooting all the browsers, and now that it's cooperating. Wow. Oh boy, such fun. Yes, fun. But it's running happier now, so not all bad. Must have needed that nap. Of course, now I'm jealous that it slept better than I did. It's one of those. Mandy was not feeling well last night, so she's actually home right now, which, if you know my wife's work ethic, you know that her being home is at least one of the seals popping. I'm just not sure which one. Ha ha, says Uncle Carl. Ha ha, say I. Poor Foxy. Holy crud, that foot is cold. It was outside my blankets. This was a mistake. That happens. Want Nick to know that I'm here instead of chasing a weather balloon today. Also, it's cold outside, so yeah. You have 34 here. I have 43. We have reached inversion 38 and climbing. Boom. Normalcy is at 1-to-1 ratio. Anything strange that you can't process is not our problem. Oh, God, I need to read some Douglas Adams. Again, curl up. Sunrise was pretty, though. Yeah, it was very hit here. More golds here. I almost saw it from the other side this morning, so no. I don't know if Thesis got any picks or not. Sometimes he does. Well, I hope he does. Has he done? I know he did his little crab dance video. Has he done a martial arts video anytime soon? Well, I hope so. I also hope that Trey is feeling better, that she, Dawn, and Churro show up today. I do too, but I would far rather them be comfortable and sleep. That'd be good. Shall we start the summoning? Looks like it's needed. Sure, I mentioned them once so far, and don't forget to like and share, folks. Yes, because I know you're subscribed. You wouldn't want to miss this look. And I do apologize. It will be laundry day when I fix the dryer, so you're getting out of costume, out of character, Nick again. Sorry about that. I got stuff to get done. Tossing almonds, cats, and baked goods into a pile. Even I was lazy today, as I didn't get up before 5 a.m. Slept until 6. Lazy. Nope. Lothario? How do you know Lothario? Yes, we love Lothario, and Lothario loves you. That might be something else that's coming. It's not her Lothario character. It's anyway. Pickles! Speaking of cats, we had a gold kitten on our porch today. Oh! Slides light close to the slot, just waiting for the music. Oh, cute Foxy. It must have belonged to someone as it approached us instead of actually running away. Instant adoption happens. Little sister or brother for Indigo. Hey, Nick. Too bad these. Whoa. Wow, where are we? Wow. We had I bumped the comment situation. Too bad that Thesis is allergic to cats. Aw. I'm talking like lose your eyeballs type allergic. Understood. Me too. That's why we never have more than 7 at a time. Not bad. Poor Thesis. I am actually allergic to just about everything, so at this point I'm like, why not? And Botrix has correctly joined the channel. Woohoo! Yeah, his eyes swell up big, his nose closes up. Not quite anaphylaxis, but not far from. Well, that's bad. My birthday is 1 week from now exactly. Woohoo! Well, woohoo you. I'm totally not working on the rough drafts to try to figure out your requested request. And it's coming together. So good morning, Churro, my love. How are you, dearie? You've been getting a lot of early birthday presents, so I am glad. So next, that's right, it is next. Yay! Hey, Grim! Hi. 1, you're supposed to talk to man the next chance you get. 2, hi. 3, I apparently can't quite do that gesture because everything's tightened up from the damage. That's okay. I have means to deal with it. Hey, Churro and Grim. There's Churro and Grim. Closer to 18. Heck yeah, turning 15. I'm working on driving a lot with my mom. So far, I'm not bad. Just too jerky with my movements. Hey, Churro. Probably shouldn't. I didn't think you could. Yeah, don't talk about that online till you get your permit officially, kiddo. Hi, Donna. Pretty normal one to start out. You'll feel better when you're more relaxed with it. Good to hear Nick is on the mend. I hope so. Because I've been just beat up this arc. And it kind of kicked the crud out of me for a while. So, there we go. Inigo is petting himself on the cord for my keyboard. Well, LOL. He keeps walking back and forth underneath it like it feels good. I'm sure it does. Oh, Dawn. Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you need a little bit of solid country gold. Anyway, critters, cats, dogs, etc. can be funny. Indeed. Skipping the bot. You don't need to run the Mad Gas Rad if you need space. It's fine. It's a classic. I'm only talking about removing the ones that don't make sense. It's good for spooky season, true. And there you go. It's seasonal ad. We'll see. I should do a longer ad for the memory book. I've never done one for that. Probably should. And make sure it's memorable. With a song. Well, it is a memory book, says Foxy, and song and memory are rather linked. Hello. Nick. Hello, Drew. Yes. Thought you'd like to hear this. Hit me with the good stuff. The ladies at Glimmers found a coffin purse with a lovely crucifix on the front and saved it for me. I volunteered last night and they showed me. Got it for free. Beautiful. Loving that for you. All the love in the world. We need to get Sarah to get her situation straightened out so she's a whole lot closer. Dang it. Wow. Certainly conversation starter stopper from the depending on the audience. Indeed. Yes, Inigo, your antler's lovely. No, I don't want it. A turn, silly pup. He likes to share treats and things. I bet. Gone. Good morning. And Dawn is, of course, the mistress mind behind the stories of her cats, Buddy and Georgette. Anyway, like I'm not going to hit this. There you go. Let her have her squee. Decent artwork. Might get an up-to-date. Now for Trey. Trey gets to sleep. If she is awake, she's welcome in the chat. But it's far more important that Trey gets her sleep. Dawn, did you get 2 Cubbimals with your Muncie crate capture? Okay. Churro says hi. They say, at least Mandy says hi. Tossing a skein of untangleable yarn. There's an untangleable yarn? Anyway, in the conjuring pile. I think so, girl. Great job. I was more excited to make level 2. Well, I'm glad you guys did that. Confetti's for Dawn. The magnets did it. I missed Grim coming in. Sorry, Grim. Grim's stealthy. We love Grim, but they're stealthy. Charcoal says this spoon doesn't belong on the desk. I'll fix it for you. And Chris Walker. Good morning, Chris. Hope all of you had an enjoyable weekend, that your Monday is off to a good start. Squee. Hi, Chris. Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris. And Squee. My babies. Indigo's looking out the window, quietly barking at something. There's something out there. Something out the window. Something out there. There's something out the window. Nick has caught up. Nick has maxed out and will run an ad because I have. So, yeah. Nana, boo-boo.
Hello, I'm Dan Hallfield. I'm the senior editor and publisher of Abelian Webzine, the world's oldest free creative writing e-zine since 1997. Since then, we have helped over 500 amateur writers learn what they needed to turn pro. www.aphellion-webzine.com and read not only what we've got going on right now, but 28 years worth of our archives of stories. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. Just a second. I am multitasking. There we go. I had a character proportion bit off. And yes, there we go. Wanted to fix that because it was catching in my peripheral as something I needed to do. It didn't want to forget. Little boof. Oh, Some small bird went by, or other creature went by my window this morning, and Mandy got to hear Boots and several of the others start off with their thing, because Boots absolutely loses her stuff. Yesterday at Glimmers, I got two of the most lovely dresses I've ever seen. What? I was reorganizing racks, and one of the ladies showed me. One's gray and one's red, but they're the same design. Oh, I'm so cool. That's so cool for you. I'm so cool. Wow. I'm so impressed. They're also 65% cotton. They're very detailed too. I almost screamed when I saw them. I inherited a bunch of shirts yesterday. Cool. Some gal asked if sometimes counselors impose their own values on their clients. Even the idea of carrying on. My wayward son. I told her that all good counselors worry about that. Yeah, if you don't think you do, you do. My problem is finding out there is a absence of who counsels the counselors people out there. And it could be very problematic for people who've been in certain circles as long as I have. It's like, no, mindfulness exercises are not going to, no. I know to breathe. Thank you. Yes, I am breathing as much as I mechanically can. Thank you. No, I don't need another app. Anyway, mother-in-law cleaning out her larger sizes. Well, that's cool. Oh, and that's what he was watching. His buddy was outside. Well, that's good. I'm glad that our dear friend Unigo has his stuff. Hey, Nick, since my StompCom programs are currently in Joey's basement, I can't check the date. I believe StompCon is March 7th. I believe. I have to double check it, but it's written on my notes, so I will get that to you. Neighbors across the way have a big pit that Inigo adores. My brain, of course, went, well, yeah. What dog wouldn't like a big pit to dig in? Oh, no. Anyway. That's me. Hi, Miss. Had been told usually I don't talk to people about these problems, but for some reason I feel there's spill my soul to you now. And IndieCD.com. Sorry. Just be careful who you got to. Oh, what Churro's saying is people come and dump on her all the time. There are reasons Churro and I get along real well. And I just can't I can't explain what it's like other than I don't go out places alone very often because if I stop to eat, people will come and sit. Yeah, see, I don't rant very often. I tend to be therapist-esque figure to a lot of friends. That's how you become one. And I've watched you handle things. And a good counselor should listen to the pain, even to painful stuff, especially the painful stuff. Yep. That's the gig. And who has a StompCon? I know the date is in there. Yeah, happens to me too. But we must be careful not to impose our own values on others. Indeed. That's one of the great challenges. That's the difference between a counselor and a clergyman. However, I've also seen That's why it's important to have that, because I've seen quite the opposite happen, where counselors have also uh, presented therapy as religion. It gets scary. So you have to be careful on all angles with that. But what you don't have to be careful with is this.
In 1948, a man was found dead on the beach. But he hadn't just washed up. Oh no, he was very nicely propped up against the seawall, very well dressed. But there were no labels in his clothes. They had all been cut out. Very mysterious, the police thought. And then they found, rolled up in his pocket, a piece of paper from a novel that said Tamam Shud. When they finally traced it, it came back to the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. But it got even more strange, because in the back of the book, when they found that it had been torn out of, there was a code, a secret code that has not been cracked to this very day. When they finally found his suitcase, it had a mysterious jumble of items, some which were very hard to explain. Also in the back of the book was the phone number of a very mysterious nurse. What did she have to do with the death of the Somerton man? Find Death and Love Down Under, a novel by Carl Witzman, on Lulu.com, in both ebook and print format.
All right. Sorry. I had a couple things. And yes, it is March 7th for Indie CD. The date is being verified again for StompCon. Yep. Flyer says September 12th. There we go. I am making a new document right now because I was supposed to have it and it never got where it was supposed to be. So, no, I don't need that. I need a document. Thank you. Anyway, actually, no, I'm going to do that later. It can wait. Most of my values derive from morals and ethic rather than religion, so I don't find it too much an issue imposing that. But most of my advice is related to who and what I'm helping. Let's get worse when they could help it. Does that make sense? I try to help people with what they can help, not try to fix things out of their control. Indeed. And even something like marriage is good can be harmful if the person is getting abused at home. I had to be very careful not to give advice, but let people come to their own conclusions. That can be the hardest part. Yep. If I never say this thing is good, there's far too much nuance to things like that. Marriage can be a good thing, but people are so vast. I would never say it's good without acknowledging the bad parts. And the trick is to not speak of what you don't know, which is a little harder for you because you're going to be 15. So there's a lot of life experience to pick up. Fortunately, I've got a fairly specialized set of problems people usually come to me with. And that's that's a lot sometimes, but we're getting through it because that's what we do. And sorry for writing your tush about the date. No, I thought I had mentioned it, and we've got it. We've got the dates down. Everything should be groovy now. Can't be afraid to tell someone they need more help than you can give. You can't be everything to everyone. Because okay. I'm sorry. Because I know everything, duh. Well, of course, you're one of mine. I've tried to impart the wisdom of the cosmos on you, child. Now you're picturing Don riding on Nick's back. No. Not the green room, Carl. There we go. I like to talk I like to talk to them about the things I don't understand. I know people tend to trust me as a friend more when I talk to them like I'm a human who doesn't know things. That is one of the best ways to do that. The trick I found is asking a lot of questions. And Matthew has a new handle. Hi, Matthew. Apparently, he has a mailing list to receive a preview of his supernatural mystery comic. And there is the link for that. Hello, Matthew. We may be a bit zany, but we love sharing our experiences. Indeed, Don. Haha, that would probably put both of us in the hospital. Yes, there's always that fine balance of what can be shared in what setting. And I forgot to take that down. There we go. That's a lot better. Let's see now. The idea that counselor is supposed to know everything, not true. The other thing I like to remind people is expertise matters. What do I mean? I've reached the point where I get frustrated. Now, bear with me. I get frustrated when people assume that having the right to speak freely and everyone having an equal voice means the knowledge behind it is equal, which it isn't. We all know different things. And very often I find individuals who are literally speaking out their derrieres because they don't know. I'm not going to. Oh, that is cute. That is cute. Oh, that is cute. I've been handed a cat and the flyer because there's been a typo.
No, that's 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So yes, confirmation that it is September 12th. Carl had looked it up and found it as soon as I got the door closed, basically. And for StompCon and IndieCD.con is March 7th. We are confirmed. I will make a flyer. It will be up. Oh, no, this is fine.
Okay.
This is
I
fine.
figured you needed a cat groom.
I do. I did. Hi, dork. Oh, they all say hi, Amanda. Let's see. The idea that, yeah, there we are. And constant retraining, though often it was not what I thought was needed. Well, I get nervous, and I get nervous because I found that there are two kinds of counselors. And it doesn't matter the field or situation. People who counsel hike door because they desperately want to help and have, dedicated themselves to the study of trying to how to help. And then the people who desperately want to be right. And they've decided that they're right, and they just need to convince everyone else that they are. And those are the two ranks I encounter. Unfortunately, the ones who want to be right are far too common. Isn't that right? Oh, you're just taking your bath? Is that it? Hi. Cat Graham. What you doing? Okay. I have to sit carefully because I don't want you hiding behind the mic. All right. I once told a counselor about a dream I had. I think I temporarily broke them. I have. I have caused counselors to quit. I have caused counselors to reevaluate their religion. I have caused counselors to go back to school to level up. So, but very few of them have been terribly. That happens, Foxy. I didn't get the white hair by accident. Me dreams are something else sometimes. And dog, yep. And meow, yep. Because everybody loves a good cat. And I've got a cat right now. And hi, Stuart. They're saying hi to you, bud. Hi, Amanda. Thanks, bunches, Amanda. Pinky wiggles for Amanda. Hi. She's trying to get some bills and stuff done. What? Actually, I think she might be reading. My dreams are researching magic cards too, I hope. I don't dream often because when I do, it's always those long, feeling lucid ones. Love them personally. I have a tendency for vaguely prophetic dreams and incredible nightmares. Have those two actions overlap a couple times, it means I have an interesting relationship with sleep. And guess y'all get to see me. Oh, get to see me my birthday weekend again. Wahahaha. Yay! Yay, Dawn. And there's magpies again. I love magpies. I love moon pies too. I didn't get enough breakfast. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. No. Anyway, any ego jumps to watch and lets one rip. Of course. Funny, when I was in grad school, I actually discouraged one cow from continuing in the field. She was not ready to become a counselor. Too much empathy? If you haven't freaked out a counselor, you aren't truly weird enough. Oh, I have broken professors, counselors, made them rewrite their syllabi. I am the reason usually and almost always were added to a couple doctors' theories. They were not pleased with me. My counselor quit, LO. Not because of me, she just got a higher paying job. She was awful and constantly talked about herself and her family. Drove me nuts. That's what happens to me. Vast majority of time when I am assigned a counselor in the points that I have been, or I try to find one, they end up telling me about their lives, and it just, I've done it a couple times. True accomplishment. Such a good kitty. Yes, he is, Matthew. Stuart's a good boy. LOL, poor Foxy. Eat the cat. I tried so hard to scare that woman off, but she was dense. Once when I was opening up about my dad and his tendencies, most abuse victims don't realize they've been abused, right? The reason I don't do it professionally is I carry too much empathy and I carry too much with me. Besides, people still dump on me. So I have to be able to empty the tank quite a bit, especially given where I met. She met me once for 15 minutes and started pushing bipolar meds. Newsflash, I'm not bipolar. My favorite version of that was someone who met me exactly once, yelled at me and told me I had a brain chemical imbalance. The counselor's own life should only come in, for example, when they have solved a problem or that make a client realize they have the same issue. When denial is going on. That makes sense. The amount of people I know who have been misdiagnosed bipolar is crazy. It's. I really need to start my psych part. Yes. Yes. Yes, Carl. Start your psych project. I would love. I think we need a villain psychology project. Yes. Yes. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. And I know that wasn't Blofeld, but my cat is nicer than his, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes. Okay, now, that was the early 90s when huge drug purge was going on where I lived. Makes more sense. Oh, yeah. And churro, even diagnoses come into fashion and out of fashion. Everyone is on the autism spectrum right now because it is in. The meds for it nearly killed me. I still have symptoms. They kept upping the dose. Jeez. Bipolar is in front of several issues from what I've noticed. And see, that's the thing. If you are really that interested and you're doing it anyway, you probably should consider that when you're planning your education, because I think too often you sell yourself short. The other thing we need to be careful with is falling for the trope that all writers are mentally ill. We're not mentally ill. Everyone else is just wrong.
Hi, I'm Auntie Foxy, and I'm a crafting addict. I make custom jewelry from recycled materials, and Foxy has wares if you have coin. You can find me at ndcd.org/about-auntie-foxy. I hope to see you there.
Okay, sorry. I had to eject young Master Stewart. Wow. Today nearly turned into a psych podcast. At this point, I'd like to remind everyone, hi, I am not a licensed medical provider. I'm not a licensed mental health provider. I am not a licensed legal provider. I am not a licensed, basically, much of anything anymore. I did have a few things under my belt that were of interest, but in a very specific area, and I don't do any of that formally anymore. So, if you are having mental health for legal and sanity reasons, please remember to seek out trained licensed professionals through formal medically diagnosed, etc. means. Reach out to your healthcare provider if you have questions. Not me, not some other random bloke on the internet. Please don't try to sue me. And so I'm going to be careful with comments. So Yeah, Foxy, that's terrible. I'm paranoidly careful with any sort of med. That makes sense. And I'm aware back in public school, I had to explain to my friends they were not all autistic like that. ADD or ADD, not autistic. Here's the thing. A lot of that gets misdiagnosed as well. It's very easy to get in this bizarre vortex of neurodivergence and trauma, and it cycles around from my own experience. But from the 80s, it was almost unheard of for girls to get autism diagnosis. Exactly. Diagnosis is a bit of red herring. I prefer to look at the social familial dynamics and life choices the client makes. See, this is where, and I am nowhere near studied enough. I may need to get my books back out and crack them and dig through again just to refresh. I would love a refresher course. But that's why I preferred sociology over psychology, because I found very often psychology was very much about the label, and I found sociology was very much about the dynamics that put it into place. Even now, neurodivergency is harder for diagnosis because it's harder to get men. The whole, just men with cluster B don't get therapy. Exactly. And please do not use ChatGPT as a counselor. Fun fact, given the high prevalence of it in myself, the chances of me being autistic are actually high. I will not speak to that. I will simply nod and keep scrolling. Cluster B, one's heavy on both sides of societal, seasonal depression and anxiety. And the problem is certain ones can lead to others, and you can get this gestalt, the self-eating cycle. Oh, Illinois banned AI therapy from whatever. Good. Nick, you're an experienced who's in some training or signs someone may require more special. Basically, okay, I'm going to reread because I got started thinking about it before I finished reading it. Nick, you're an experienced listener who has empathy, some training, and are aware of signs someone may require more specialized and professional assistance. But yep, my situation is that I have had a large number of people get that vibe off of me and speak to me on such matters, including the but I'm focusing on the urge for self-termination. And what's happened to me is I've been an unintended first responder kind of fellow. That's not even the right term. I detest stolen valor. So I don't ever want to fly. I never want to fly a flag that isn't mine to own. I'm been that guy enough times because I spent enough time in that area myself that folks can talk to. And I consider it one of the highest privileges that I have, but it's also one of the heaviest burdens. And finding balance in that is challenging, especially with current events, because I try not to lie to people. So this can be a very rough subject. I appreciate your faith and what your evaluation of me, Chris. That means a lot to me. Carl did the job. Carl's the legitimate real deal in the people here. I am, like I am in almost everything else I do, a petty dabbler. Is that because of, over 4 decades of undiagnosed ADD? Probably. The whole are you a jack of all trades, or are you just attention deficit, and you've had to learn a lot of things due to the odd super focus, not hyper focus. No, super focus. I like that. And good. I tend to be open to these in hopes it will help someone out of the darkness. I tend to. Yeah. Morning bunnies. Good morning, Robin. How are you, my dear? We were just talking about you a good bit earlier. I don't know if you were here for it, but I am reminding folks that some of the videos that you've sent need to be updated. I would love to have a single cohesive video with your stuff. Since you're doing voiceover stuff, it's good practice. Also, if that's something you are taking commission for, perhaps to get more practice and get some more stuff under your belt, we might be able to match your talents with people who'd be willing to put them to good use, just as a side thing. Well, let me know. We had to mention diagnosis to get the funding, but we ignored it from there on. Exactly. I've diagnosed myself with WTAF. I know I'm not normal, but I enjoy living in my world. I'm not catching that. And if it's what the actual F, I guess I can see it. Ironically, I spent years saying I have ADOS, attention deficit. Ooh, shiny. And Robin, everyone's happy to see Robin. I would second that diagnosis, Dawn. Oh, well, there you go. I feel that, Dawn, most of my issues are purely chemical need medication for. But without that, I have a pretty good life. I like myself and the things I do. Exactly. Psychology to me is more about individuals, where sociology is more about groups. I realize there's more to it, but no, that is a perfectly valid nutshell definition. I look at it to one step out from that. I would say sociology would be in part how psychology is applied over a large area. The reasons people form the groups and why the groups then do what they do. It's fascinating though. Apparently we're fairly cerebral this Monday morning. We are talking psychology and counseling and our theories on such matters. It's been a very enlightening conversation to see what people think on different things, and it is a fascinating run. And I'm good. How are you doing, Robin? Foxy? I told Mayors, my family member, that my mental health issues were embarrassing. Now, I hope when I mention what I've been through that maybe they don't feel like they are. Honestly, I stuck in a box like I felt for years. I think let's be honest. Right now, with the level of current events, anyone who's been sentient enough, old enough to be, we all need something. We all need some mental health counseling because we've been living in crisis mode for the majority of at least the last 5 years. I'd say 5 to 7 years has been nothing but crisis mode. I go longer for some of us, but that bears on matters political, and I don't want to get into politics right now. But I think what's important is we work together and we we're at a point where we're all in this together, guys. So we need to always try to find a way to, I don't want to say get along, but because some people don't deserve to be get along with. Some people need to be violently, and when I say violently, I'm not condoning physical violence. I mean passionately. I don't want to be misquoted or misunderstood, but passionately opposed. We have to be so careful with our linguistics, as I just demonstrated by accident. But I do love to trip in a hole to show people why they shouldn't step there. It's a knack I have, really, and I understand that far too much. And some of my earliest memories were being told I was wrong for acting, feeling like I did. Yep, about casual links. Causal links, exactly. Psychology is more about functionality. True. Very true. I actually remember my brother being born, even though I was only like 18 months older, because it was traumatic. It happens. I had a younger family member struggle with depression, and their mother refused to tell them my past because the parent didn't want to glorify depression. That was actually a common ailment, and I think that's very dangerous. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Angelina Vaquera. Link. Didn't even know you streamed. Yes, ma'am. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. usually to 11:15, depending on things. Except Wednesdays are my art shows, and they're supposed to be slotted for 2 to 3 hours, but you really never know. Sometimes I'll get on a groove, and I mean, I've done nearly 6-hour shows too, so you never know. But it entertains and educates, and hopefully elevates people's day. So that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, thank you. Nick, I'm not trying to make you out to be more than you are, but people feel comfortable around you and trust you. You're not a professional, but you recognize when someone needs it. Yeah, thank you. I will also say I've never have been comfortable with certain types of compliments. And because I am also broadcasting, I have to be very careful to make sure I never confuse my audience. For, amongst other things, legal reasons. It's such a stupid mentality. It really is, Foxy. Hi, Angelina. I will update that soon. Thank you, my dear. Said younger family members, now an adult, and I shared my past. They wish they would have known about it. Yep. Hi, Uncle Carl. Is Aunt Donna with us? Oh, yes, she is. Hi, Angelina. She's just being quiet. That's a wonderful ability, Nick. You're not a complete solution, but you can assist people to get... That's what I end up doing. That's what I end up trying to do, is... I am very big in the ripple theory, and I'm very big into believing that small course corrections can make huge changes. So I try, whenever possible, to provide those. And Donna says, it's getting close to Kitty lunchtime and need to get ready to go get Bestie. Ooh, that sounds fun. I saw sociology as psychology of groups. Some groups can be sick, some dysfunctional, and some are schizophrenic and some harm themselves. Yes, that's a good way of seeing it too. Oh, my AA is in sociology. I think I chose that major. Spent my childhood going to yard sales every Saturday with my mom, and I was fascinated by them. That makes sense. I have a BLS, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, from Purdue University, from the North Central campus before it became the Northwest campus. I have in my BLS a triple primary focus on English, business, and history, and a double secondary focus on psych and soc. And for me, it was all about connecting all the wires of all of that together to try to understand certain processes. A very complex feeling about being diagnosed. On one hand, I feel that it validates something that I need help with. On the other, I don't know what to do about it. It's not. Okay, let's talk. This is a good one. Late diagnosed ADD. Yes, I'm formerly ADD. I don't quite know why. I thought that was an expired diagnosis, but I'll take it. Diagnoses really, really help you when it's time to get meds, if that's something you need. And they are an excellent jumping off point to look for comorbidities. I'm sorry, my speech impediment is acting up quite mercilessly today. In, again, my experience. It is a double-edged sword in that the old joke, oh, you have such a great personality. Thanks. It's a disorder. There's a lot of truth to that. And it's very funny finding how many things you thought were just personal quirks are actually symptomatic of X, Y, or Z. But you're very young. And if you can find things, especially things that are from the genetic / hereditary line, the sooner you can realize this is what's going on, the sooner you can minimize the damage that comes later in life. It gives you a warning sign. It's like I am diabetic, for example. Technically, I lean toward the hypoglycemic more than the high blood sugars, but why it matters isn't the name. It's the, okay, what are the rules I have to play by? I know I have to eat every few hours. I know I have to be careful to not get dehydrated. I know I need to not eat too much of a sugary situation. I know that can affect how I heal from wounds, things like that. What it does is it gives you the parameters that you can adjust your life to fit. I do a lot of things that I consider adaptive, and I've always thought that way. I tend to be a very mechanically minded individual, very in the realm of if-then statements and what are the laws in play? What are the rules? What are the consequences? So I know if I fall asleep without my breathing machine, for example, I will have I'll have a headache later. I will have possibly mental fog. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's there. So I know not to sleep without my machine, and I know what to expect if something goes wrong. Same with mental health. If you're dealing with somebody who has some form of PTSD or complex PTSD, then you start to understand, okay, what are the rules? I grew up around PTSD. There were rules in my household that were never spoken, but we all learned and we all worked with. And they're good things to understand. If you're dealing, there used to be a packet. I don't know if they still do it, but there was a packet of information on what to expect when a combat veteran comes home. there might be changes in the behavior. They may do things that you're not used to. And it would explain why. I don't know if they still do that. But understanding, okay, Xander can get overstimulated. We know this. He is a diagnosis of autism. We know this too. What it means is we make sure he has his headphones if we know we're going to somewhere that is going to be loud. That's what it does. I know I have a trick knee. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it can turn off. I found out later it's part of a slowly developing type of paralysis. And I know that if I walk too fast, too long, without my stick, I will have blinding pain and I might fall over. That's the reality. But I can work around it by knowing I need a stick. I know I need a break. To have systems in place to adapt my situation to meet my needs so that I continue to function. So a diagnosis to anything is not, it is not a brand of failure that so many people put it on. A diagnosis, and this is from my own experience, again, not a medical professional, isn't a permission slip to be bad. In fact, I think it's if you're diagnosed, to me, I think you have extra responsibility to mitigate your symptoms as a functioning adult as much as possible. That means taking your meds for whatever they are, following your doctor's orders, doing what you need to do to survive. Because if you know, you can't claim ignorance. It's also very hard with youth and especially teenagers because you are changing so much. So what I think the vast majority I find are, at least in when I am looking at what I do and why I actually do it for things like the library, it's because I find that a lot of people need to have an adult in their life who doesn't have an ulterior motive, isn't trying to get something from them, who cares enough to hold them accountable for their actions and attitudes, who is willing to listen and treat someone, especially a teenager or a preteen, as an individual, while still remembering that they're a child. You're not fully there. Back when I worked professionally with behavioral special needs, I explained to people, a lot of people can take a punch, and a lot of people can care for somebody. Not a lot of people can take a punch and still, in that moment, care for somebody. And that was my gig. To, incur damage containing someone from their own anger and destructive tendencies, and while damaged, take care of them until you can get support. volunteering for the library with the teens sometimes can be a bit like that. That, and frankly, there are a lot of, I find there are a lot of young ladies who, especially young ladies of a very specific vulnerable age, mid to late teens, so especially like peaking 14, 15, sorry, get up, through early adulthood, who a large number of people they interact with do so with, especially a large number of males, with, shall we say, malicious intent, even if they're not going to act on it. So I try to provide just the presence of somebody who cares and isn't trying to get anything out of it. I don't know if I do much good. That's one of my great things I get to deal with is, am I doing enough? Is it of value? But at least I'm trying. And if in doing that, I can, use games to teach people that actions have consequences, that critical thinking is a good thing, how to play nice with people, how to be part of a group, and when to be an individual. There's a lot of very important lessons that can be learned through tabletop role playing, and lessons that are wonderfully administered, I believe. There's a program, or at least there was, for how to use role playing specifically for counseling purposes, like actually playing D&D and things like that for counseling purposes. It was a certification I at one point sought, but I don't currently have the ability to do so. I may, though, later down the line. Let's see. Sorry, I kind of got on a tangent there. I have a headache and need to submit financial reconciliation documents today. Then I need to set up second round interviews. Then I need to finish my workday. You just work your butt off. Oh, continuing from your talking about sociology. I was so curious about what types of things people purchased, how long they kept them, how much they were worth, and whether things matched people or houses. See, that is fascinating. And yeah, the magic word in that whole explanation is, or magic clause was, I was curious. Curiosity is the single most important trait of an intelligent person. And it is the fastest way to for me, I find, to determine a certain level of intelligence. Because it has intelligence, all manifests with study of one form or another, and it always has to start with curiosity. It's one of the greatest of human traits, curiosity. Obviously, it has to be tempered with ethos. That's fine, with ethics and such. But yes, isn't it great? And I love being around people who ask those questions. Hey, Rob and Angelina. Yes, sure, getting a diagnosis barely helps a person. I will say this: I'm not crazy, I'm not stupid, I'm just dyslexic. And it's not something I'm doing wrong, was a fundamental life changer for me. And had I had that much earlier on, not only would my grades been far superior, it would have helped with a lot of the trauma I went through of what's wrong with me. So if y'all do yard sales, know that what you put out says a lot about you. It's true. That's a fascinating. I would read that book, Angelina. I'm not even kidding. I would read that book. I don't know how you'd phrase it. I don't know how you'd do it, but I would read that book. Speaking of, I should clean out my closets this spring, get rid of the pants that don't fit. And Angela's screaming, Dawn, we have the makings of master's thesis right there. See? Of course, then I'd lose the weight and fit into them for sure. There are people who've been dealing with ADHD for years. Some had no assistance or help. Some did. It's not anything to feel bad or despair about. It is massively frustrating. And I know a lot of people going, I'm trying to be very intelligent and then make these constant bonehead errors and just feel like an idiot the entire time. And be subject to mock and ridicule from instructors and fellow students. So it's an interesting balance, but you shouldn't feel that way. My BA is in history, and for that I took several psychology, sociology, and anthropology. I found them all interesting. I was more interested in how they work together. Exactly. Give me the juicy connections. Too many people in my mind focus on boxes and not the lines that connect the boxes. Don, if I'd known that when you first got injured, I would have gotten you to a friend in rehab in your area. Speaking of professionals, I am 3 separate appointments tomorrow. I'm going to be toast by the end of the day. That happens. And Donna isn't the type to make small talk. She only talks when she has something to say or add to the conversation. This is true. And Donna also has a habit of talking about herself in the third person. What does the Witzman dude have to say about that? I'm going to say awareness of grandeur because delusions of grandeur would be diluted, and you're not diluted, you're just grand. Together, the disciplines can paint a fairly good picture of why and how and what affects people. Indeed. I am not analyzing Aunt Donna today. Satan, get behind me. LOL, Carl, I don't blame you. Now, children, this is what we call self-preservation. Aunt Donna laughs. Third person speaking is a lot of context. More context is definitely needed. Churro has no self-preservation. This is why I worry about her. Churro, sometimes it's just a way of poking at Carl, Uncle Carl, and other people. I have something kind of similar. I don't see myself as a person, but I character to protect other people. I tend to forget that it is me being perceived and not whichever version is in my head. I'm in this picture and I don't like it. I know the feeling, kiddo. Sometimes diversions or bribes work, but not with government or political officials. So many things. Moving on. So many things can just poking fun at loved ones. Oh, yes. I brought up most of this to poke Nick. It's very entertaining. Love you, Nick. I love you. And you know what? Lothario loves you too. Chris, then why do so many take bribes? Churro, sounds a bit like imposter syndrome. I don't know what you're talking about, Carl. What do you think? Yeah? Yeah? Do money? What do you think? Yup. And do money but for Dawn, because that makes her happy. They take them, but they usually get and there are almost always consequences when exposed. That doesn't necessarily happen with private riots and diversion. It's true. I'm too ADHD for a master's, pretty sure. I don't even tell people how many it took me to get a 4-year. 8.5 years for my 4-year degree. And 6.5 semesters of that. 6 semesters of that were Math 101. Till I got a prof who finally went, you realize you're dyslexic, right? and graded on being able to do the process heavier than the arithmetic. Yeah. Oof, my diagnosis is chemical. Guess I'm SOL. Jokes, I've learned to handle it well. Got some of those too. Then you take your meds, you watch for the signs, and you have people you trust keep an eye on you about that. Just like my diabetes is kind of that way too. I have people, Nick, you're hangry. Okay. Gotta get ready in time today. See you later, Saul. Hey, you have a wonderful day, Donna. See you, Donna. Have a lovely day, Donna. Cheryl, you usually manage to learn, cope with, or work around it. Absolutely. And you make sure you surround yourself with people who also will. But since Donna's going out, let's have some musical interlude.
It's time to scan, that is the plan, with Carl and Dawn to catch a fawn or unicorn. We're so forlorn, we got a cap, so here's our rep. Munsey, we want to Munsey, because we want some points and funny badges with our modern cell phone gadgets. Munsey, we've got to Munsey. Download that app and help us cap, and you can play it too. Munsey is good exercise, good for your heart and for your thighs. Dawn is such a lovely lass. Come on, Dawn, get off your chair. Munsey, we want to Munsey, because we want some points and funny badges with our modern cell phone gadgets. Munsey, we got to Munsey. Download that app and help us cap, and you can play it too.
Yes. And let's see. Let's see. Might work on. Bye for now, Donna. Guess that means I need to go help feed the heathen felines. Hate to leave during this discussion, but I'm needed elsewhere. See people away! See ya, Carl. Have a good day, Carl. Thanks for the discussion. And Robin says, love y'all, especially the Tockert fam. Have to deal with the headache. Hydrate, meds, take it easy, dear. All the love in the world to you. Cheryl says, Nick, you're an amazing role model / father to me. You're literally my favorite person alive. That is a privilege and an honor that I do not take lightly at all, kiddo. I have a couple stray folks I have quasi-adopted in my time. 2 of them are in the chat, because I hope Grim's still watching. Hope Grim knows I still care about you too. But I just... Churro. Yeah. If I had a daughter, I would hope she'd be a lot like you. That's the best I can say. And I guess I kind of do, don't I? I got a lot of kids that aren't quite mine, but they're close enough. I'm not going to get misty-eyed on screen, though you've come pretty darn close. My oldest son wrote a college admissions essay about how playing D&D helped him with his life skills. He has autism. And it's wonderful, isn't it? Because then you get to write the scripts we use in our head. You get to figure out how interactions work. It's wonderful. And I'm skipping the actual bot that fooled me once. Been in listening mode, doing adulty things. Blah. Tomorrow is my adulty thing day. Keeping an eye on the weather for this weekend. Supposed to head home. May it stay mild and drivable for you. Share. Where are you going right now, Dawn? Illinois. Just got home to Illinois. Heading to Minnesota for my friends. Parents. Oh, cool. Got to get going. Yep. Hope you all have a good start of your week. Thank you for coming around, Chris. You are much appreciated. Thank you, Foxy. And it's gone an hour and a half. I actually have a dryer to fix. So I think I'm going to run some ads and wrap it up unless there's anything that's pressing, guys. It's been a delightful conversation. Let's run ones I haven't heard from in a bit.
bunnies? This is Robin Yoda, just wanting to let you know I have a Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/Robin Yoda. You can catch me there Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific playing Stardew Valley, Saturdays at 2 p.m. playing The Sims 4, and Sundays at 10 a.m. Pacific playing a random game from my Game Pass library. You can also find me Mondays on my YouTube channel, Robin Yoda the Lilac Bunny. I hope to see you all there. Thanks for watching.
Welcome, welcome, bunnies. It's Robin Yoda. My Twitch stream has changed. I'm playing Saturdays and Sundays at 2 p.m. If there's any schedule change, I'll let you know by posting on X, Blue Sky, and sometimes Facebook. You can follow all my socials, Robin Yoda the Lilac Bunny, and sign up for my YouTube channel. It's also Robin Yoda the Lilac Bunny, where I repost all of my streams. So come join me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Robin Yoda for some awesome streams. And once again, thanks for watching.
All right, folks. I have one more ad to run because I always run Cat's ad. And I like to give you guys lots of time to check back in, and then I'll sign off.
Hi, this is Kat. During the school year, I'm Mrs. Rothermel. But otherwise, I'm Rock and Roll Art Goddess, writing about my past and filming the present. I need you to join my Rock and Roll Art Army and to check out my merch on Zazzle.com. What started out as journal therapy is now 4 books, I see, and an Instagram account to blow off steam, becoming a book, with another to do the same. A short film for a friend. No, this is not the end. Peace, love, and let me art.
Yep, folks, because I'm all about letting you guys art. We have a lot ahead of us this week. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. We're coming up on the start of the proper holiday season, proper Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Katanika for those of you who are of the Ninja faith. I want you guys to enjoy the simple pleasures of it, but don't get caught up in the dark sides of it. And take care of yourselves. Do what you need to do first. No Christmas morning is worth suffering a whole next year out of debt or issue. So, guys, time for me to say it. So keep writing, keep drawing, keep creating, because as long as you do, you can edit it, you can improve it, but you can't edit a blank page. I love you, and you should too. Toodles.